Hello. In this video, I want to talk about drawing boxes with a side plane first approach. So, in my last video from last week, I talked about drawing boxes using the Y method, in which you kind of plot out Ys, or you plot out like some Y shape, and then you draw it, and all that. If you're interested in that, please check out the video from last week. It was called Drawing Boxes with a Corner First Approach. Maybe I'll put the link in the description just so it's clear where to find it. But in this case, I wanted to talk about doing it with a plane first approach. So in this instance, instead of drawing a Y shape, you pretty much draw a full side or plane, 3D plane. Think of like a piece of paper existing in 3D space. In this instance, I did it with dots. You just as well could quickly do something like that, but you are going to sacrifice a lot of accuracy. If I ever need a box and I'm doing like some gesture drawing or something like that, I would just quickly get it in. Sometimes when you're doing gesture, the practice for it is to get it in as fast as possible, and you may not always be considering accuracy all the time, although it can be extremely helpful. But like in gesture, you strive for a level of accuracy, but more often than not, I would time myself to try to accomplish that. But yeah, the other thing is ghosting your lines. I always recommend you do that. But I think the plane first approach is a lot more easier to comprehend, because sometimes I think starting with the plane, I would say focusing on the plane that is closest to the viewer first is extremely important to getting your idea down, in my opinion. It's just what I found. Okay, so we have our plane. Now I'm going to draw the other sides of our box. And some of these dots are just me trying to figure out, trying to I'm trying to converge lines towards an implied vanishing point. There's a vanishing point somewhere really far out, but I'm not drawing the vanishing points or the horizon and trying to plot it towards that. Something like that would be for the most accuracy. Oops. Sorry, I keep spitting on my screen, which makes you really think about, because you have to think that everyone who does art, or even like a painting in a museum, accumulates spit, whether from people talking in front of it or the original artist. So I guess you could say, people say that artists put themselves in their work in some form, whether it be like a portrait or some personification. But I think to a certain extent, actually putting their spit in in the painting is something that happens, or some residue that gets left over. So I guess you could say people literally put themselves in a painting, a part of themselves. I think it should have been a little bit more like there. Not really liking the way the box turned out, but I wanted to do at least one method of showing how to do it in a semi-accurate way before moving on to the more free-handed approach. It's a little bit over. If you are trying to aim for accuracy, another thing you can do is there's a thing called ghosting your lines. Pretty much draw without drawing. It's not tracing, it's just like you're trying to get comfortable executing a line. Or a single line between 2 points, and you kind of practice without drawing. I think I already said that. Oops. Kind of like that. Okay. Alrighty, now for the back dimensions of this box. Yeah, I'm not too happy with how it turned out. I think I made one side kind of converge in a very sharp way. Like, I like this plane, the front plane here, not this one so much, which is the initial one I drew. So I should try that again. As painful as it can be sometimes, and also my line was a bit too curved in that instance. Oh, I missed it. That's better. Okay, so it's an okay example. I'm not too happy with it. Let me try to do another more accurate one. This box practice, it's extremely important in my opinion. I found that drawing straight lines, or trying to, requires such a massive strain on my mind. I don't know if it works like that for everyone, but to a certain extent, I think it has to do with us not being primed to draw straight lines, because we're not like computers or machines. I mean, I'm pretty sure with enough practice you can do it. And I try to do this every day, but I'm probably just very early in my career. I'm also not rotating the page. It can help to rotate the page for more accurate lines. A bit off. But yeah, I feel like more often than not, if you're trying to draw something you're seeing, picking the plane closest to the viewer, which would be you, could be extremely beneficial. to start off drawing a box. Then at this point we're just going to try to draw the other sides of the box and put it all together. Oh, I don't like that one. I think that line is kind of not converging as closely as it should to the other line. Think about here, even that's a little off. It should be going a bit more. I'm gonna go halfway and say about here. It's a little off. Doing these boxes can take a little bit of time, but like I said, if you're doing something in a gestural way, you may be trying to go faster, and you may just be trying to capture the big picture of something quickly. I am going to do that after I complete this box, because I think both methods have their own level of importance for different exercises, so I do want to squeeze them both in. It's a little off. Off again. Okay, some minor mistakes that I can see now that I look at it, but I'm not going to draw the back dimension for this box because I want to move on to the gestural approach now. So sometimes if I would quickly need to draw a box, obviously I would start with the front plane, and I really wouldn't try to aim for 100% accuracy, but I would try to get some level just to quickly capture the idea. I may even go over, when you do something fast, you probably lack, you definitely lack accuracy, but that doesn't mean you can't go back to your preliminary drawing and try to fix it on the side. Well, sorry, I should have said I'm going to start with a plane. But if your goal is to capture something big picture, it could be beneficial to just do it quickly and ugly. Sometimes quickly and ugly can be beneficial. So, both ways to execute it, whether you're trying to do it fast or trying to be extremely accurate, both have their points. But you do have to know, if you ever are trying to get something incredibly accurate, maybe you are better off using a 3D modeling program of some sort, whether it be Blender or AutoCAD, something along the lines of that. But different things have their different purpose, I think it's good to have the ability to do both. I guess the important thing is when you're trying to do it this way, in a quick way, be mindful of convergence. Ah, I messed that up. But that's what you get when you lack a lot of accuracy. Could have been better. I've been drawing for a while, so not for the length of this video. I actually made some other videos, so I probably should be taking a longer break, and I did not, so that could be affecting my quality. Probably most definitely is. There we go. We're starting with a plane that is having a lot of convergence. Kind of like that. Usually when I would do these types of really quick, crappy boxes in 3D space in like a real fast gestural way, I would avoid drawing through my forms, because more often than not, given the exercise, say gesture drawing, and maybe you're trying to focus on a little construction, you don't always have the time to do all of that. Like, there are certain exercises you may be trying to do in 30 seconds, a minute, 2 minutes, or 5 minutes, or something like that. But if you are doing a longer one, maybe you do have the time for it. So don't let me stop you. You'll have to find a healthy balance of how you would do it. So, everything I say, please take with a grain of salt. I feel like in drawing, there is no right way to do it. There are ways that can help you towards a better truth, but I couldn't say any way is the right way. But before I mentioned about like using AutoCAD or a 3D program, if you another way, which if you want to use a roller, that could be another viable method. But just to tell you, when you do that, things that look extremely accurate like that, you can never pass that off as a human's work. It's one of those things that people could tell. I think extremely straight lines lack this feeling of human, and they look a bit robotic or machined in general. So that is an important thing to keep in mind. But who knows, in this day of AI art, not to get all controversial, but I wouldn't be surprised if it got somewhere near that. I don't know. I'm not trying to start anything, but inevitably I probably will. But yeah, just getting used to trying to draw a plane. The other thing is, I'm doing this really sloppily and quick, but you could try to be more accurate when you're trying to draw your first plane. You don't have to do it in like such a sloppy method that I'm doing here. You could try to be a bit more aware as you draw your boxes. So don't let me stop you in any way. Oh, I don't like this one. Kind of like that. But I think in a lot of this, what matters the most is that you try your best. Because that's all you can try. I think doing work and trying to come back to it in the future, to perhaps either observe your mistakes and look at your mistakes, can be another incredibly important thing to do as you go in your drawing career. Let me think of any other boxes that I would want to quickly draw. Yeah, I think you'll just have to find a healthy balance at doing this. And just know it could take a lot of time until you start popping out good ones. I think to a certain extent there's a lot of a warm-up factor, like warming up, having drawn for a while. I'm not saying about myself, I mean like yourself. Like the more you draw, I think there's always a certain level of warm-up until you start getting quality work. I recommend you do like some type of warm-up routine. I have a video on it. Maybe I'll put it in the description, but it's like a 25-minute warm-up routine I do when I first start drawing for the day. And it helps me get in the flow. But yeah, I think I'll leave it at that. If you have any questions, please ask in the comments, or you could email me. If you like my video, please like it, and if you like my channel, please subscribe. Thank you very much for listening. Bye.